Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Shout out to Lele. I'm doing well. How about you? Thank you for asking. Shout out to Jonah. How are you doing, Jonah? Yeah, I got a new color. Thank you for being here. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Hello, welcome. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Shout out to Perry. Shout out to Adalyn. Shout out to Amaya. Shout out to Shaylin. Shout out to Amari. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Komir. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Charlotte. Shout out to Winter. Shout out to Sadie. Shout out to Nathan. Shout out to Riley VR21. Shout out to Azaria. Shout out to Fernanda. Shout out to Apollo. Shout out to Kelsey. Shout out to Annabeth. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Dylan. Shout out to Tiana Lee. Shout out to Dustin. Shout out to Matthew. Excuse me. Shout out to Kendall Moody. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Kendall Moody. Shout out to Juliet. Shout out to Josiah. Shout out to Avery. Shout out to James. Shout out to Mohammed. Shout out to Ella. Shout out to Scarlett. Susie Vicky World, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Susie Vicky World. Shout out to Sky. Shout out to Autumn. Can everyone hear me? Oh, I already put Sky. Shout out to Amelia. Thank you, Jake. Just making sure. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to Ricardo. Oh, Ricky. Shout out to Ricky. Shout out to Kathy. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Karima. Shout out to Maddie. Shout out to Shaylin. Shout out to Harper. Shout out to Violet. Shout out to Raylan. Or Rylan. Shout out to Mallory. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Dallas. Shout out to Jaden. Shout out to Carlos. Shout out to happy birthday. Shout out to Gracia. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Sarah. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Winty Lou. Shout out to Melissa. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Sienna. Shout out to Nati. Shout out to Jessie. Shout out to Jocelyn. Shout out to Penelope. Shout out to George. Shout out to Oliver. Shout out to Abia. Thank you for subscribing. Happy birthday, Sarah. Did I get Sarah? Oh yeah, I got you. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. Shout out to Aria. Shout out to Novali. Shout out to Daphne. Shout out to Romina. Shout out to Presley. Shout out to Daisy. Shout out to Sarai, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Carlin. Shout out to Kaylee. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Sarah, bye. Thank you for stopping by. Happy birthday. Shout out to Liel. Shout out to Jade. Shout out to Lynn. Shout out to Bryson. Shout out to Telma. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to May. Thank you for subscribing. Or Mai. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to B. Shout out to Lucas. Shout out to Samantha. Shout out to Isidro. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Jelena. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Claire. Shout out to Sully. I'm doing well, Samantha. How about you? Thank you for asking. Shout out to these people. On to the next page. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the shout outs. I do these shout outs every day around the same time or some more. Normally I live stream later on in the day, but or at a later hour, but I don't know, I've just been having extra time, so I'm live streaming right now as well. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the shout outs. I would truly appreciate your support. Shout out to Lena. Thank you for your support, Lena. Shout out to Rose. Shout out to Leilani. Shout out to Hala. Shout out to Kana. Or Kana. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Dominic. Shout out to Madison. Shout out to Valerie. Shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Emmy. Shout out to Galena. Shout out to Olivia. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Shout out to Kimberly. Shout out to Nicola. Shout out to Josie. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Cash. Shout out to Jade. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Nora. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Nova. Shout out to Jackson. Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Camila. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. I also post other content. I hope you can check it out as well. Shout out to Rosa. Shout out to Peyton. Shout out to Noelani. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Audrey. Shout out to Audrey. Oh, I just put Audrey. Shout out to Ideb. Shout out to Kenny. Shout out to Justice. Shout out to Aiden. Shout out to Savannah. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to Lucy. Shout out to Reagan. Shout out to Sana. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Elijah. Shout out to Johnny. Shout out to Milena. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Finn. Shout out to Tanya. Shout out to Carter. Shout out to Letty. Shout out to Rad. Shout out to Moira. Shout out to Farina. Shout out to Jocelyn. Shout out to Lexi. Shout out to Isabel. Shout out to Sajra. Shout out to Mama. Shout out to Parker. Shout out to Yannix. Shout out to Bassie. Shout out to Hannah. Shout out to Maha. Shout out to Beck. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to John Barnack. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Whoopsie. Shout out to John Varnack. Thank you so much for your support. Let me rewrite your name because I messed up the N. There we go. Shout out to Amber. Shout out to Kiara. Shout out to Violet. Shout out to Brookie. Shout out to Lilac. Shout out to Lillian. Happy birthday. Is it 2 L's? I wasn't sure. Shout out to Dariella. Shout out to Suyu. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Zarku. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Zaruk. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you everyone for your patience as well. I know I don't really write super fast. Shout out to Christopher. Shout out to Allie. Shout out to Amy. Shout out to Dylan. Shout out to Emery. Shout out to Taraya. Happy birthday. Shout out to Asher. Shout out to Diana. Shout out to Samira. Shout out to Kizzy. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Kalia. Happy birthday. Shout out to Ethan. Shout out to Mason. Shout out to Maya. Shout out to Angel. Shout out to Ryder. Shout out to Magdalene. Shout out to Maddie. Shout out to JJ. Shout out to Sister. Shout out to Gia. Shout out to Leo. Shout out to Bailey. Shout out to Warren. Shout out to Tillich. Shout out to Diana. Shout out to these people. On to the next page. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the shout outs. I truly appreciate your support. Also, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking the time to write your name out. And thank you for your patience as well, because I know I don't write super fast. So I appreciate it. Shout out to Nevaeh. Shout out to Dakota. Shout out to Kesa. Shout out to Kelsey. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Colton. Shout out to Brantley. Shout out to Emery. Shout out to Noel. Shout out to Mom. Shout out to Michaela. Shout out to Delilah. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Jeffrey. Shout out to Kinza. Shout out to Ray. Shout out to Elijah. Shout out to Megan. Shout out to Owen. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Ben. Shout out to Britanna. Shout out to Zamzam. Shout out to Davis. Shout out to Viviana. Shout out to Gabriella. Shout out to Jonathan. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Colby. Shout out to Anaya. Shout out to Everett. Shout out to Gracie. Shout out to Kizar. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Jocelyn. Shout out to Harper. Shout out to Jayla. Shout out to Abby. Shout out to Hudson. Shout out to Blue. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Charlotte. Shout out to Alana. Shout out to Caleb. Shout out to Cielo. Shout out to Hadika. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Madeline. Whoopsie, I messed up. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Jarrett. Shout out to Gino. Shout out to Marcos. Shout out to Richie. Shout out to Alana. Shout out to Allison. Shout out to Abby. Shout out to Cohen. Shout out to Rachel. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Malaysia. Shout out to Robbie. Shout out to Jennifer. Shout out to Vika. Shout out to Julie. Shout out to Alberto. Thank you everyone for your patience. The live stream is picking up a little bit, so I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten to you. Shout out to Jade. Shout out to Soleil. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Gabisha. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Reese. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Krista. Shout out to Bridget. Shout out to Zunaira. Shout out to Allison. Shout out to Isabella. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Quinn. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to Esila. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Danny. Thank you everyone for your patience. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my live streams. Shout out to Hayden. Shout out to Alyssa. Shout out to Hope. Shout out to Aurelies. Shout out to Hope. Thank you for your patience. Shout out to Alondra. Shout out to Zyra. Shout out to Claudia. I'm going to rewrite your name because I kind of messed up right there. Shout out to Ramoni. Shout out to Luna. Shout out to Daniel. Shout out to Damie. Shout out to Brina. Shout out to Helena. Shout out to Michelle. Shout out to Shea. Shout out to Noah. Shout out to Mason. Shout out to Hina. Shout out to Gia. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Nofi. Thank you for subscribing. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Eli. Shout out to Brooke. Shout out to these people. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. On to the next page. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. I also post other content. I hope you can check it out as well and leave likes. I would truly appreciate it. I make little tutorials for these types of things, especially with Valentine's coming up. I do Valentine cards. I hope you can check out my tutorials. I also do birthday cards. I hope you can check out the tutorials and leave a like or share. I would truly appreciate your support. And I do also birthday ones too, like this. Shout out to Wyatt. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Allison. Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Paris. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Abby. Shout out to Anna. Whoopsie, I put. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to Macy. Shout out to Kinsa. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to Josie. Shout out to Natalie. Yes. Shout out to Natalie. Shout out to Drea. Shout out to Sada or Sada. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Humaira. Shout out to Vidal. Shout out to Taylor. Shout out to Walker. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Jimmy. Shout out to Marissa. Shout out to, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but is it Isay? Shout out to Kennedy. Shout out to Kenzie. Shout out to Marjorie. Shout out to Marcella. Shout out to Ravni. Shout out to Braylon. Shout out to Jared. Shout out to Shamara or Shamara. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Adriali. Shout out to Sage. Shout out to Cylon. Shout out to Dakota. Shout out to Miles. Shout out to Autumn. Shout out to Harai. Shout out to Erin. Shout out to Arciana. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Shout out to Shane. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Ivana. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to Grace. Shout out to Haven. Shout out to Parvinder. Shout out to Mabel. Shout out to Addison. Shout out to Essie. Shout out to Sydney. Shout out to Rhea. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Manon. Shout out to Mia. Shout out to Trinity. Shout out to Lana. Shout out to Rocio. Shout out to Maria. Shout out to Natalie. Shout out to Salma. Thank you, Adrieli. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Madison. Shout out to Brielle. Shout out to Bluey. Shout out to Emma. Shout out to Anna. Shout out to Lexi. Shout out to Donnie. Shout out to Angela. Shout out to Ollie. Shout out to Carlonia. Shout out to Princeton. Shout out to Ness. Shout out to Gabby. Shout out to Mason. Shout out to Michael. Shout out to Violet. Shout out to Annie. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Shout out to Darcy. Oh my goodness, I messed up your name. I'm so sorry. Shout out to Darcy. Shout out to Habiba. Shout out to Laura. Shout out to Miracle. Shout out to Amelia. Shout out to Afini. Shout out to Yunche. Shout out to Victoria. Shout out to Sally. Shout out to Daniela. Shout out to Nessa. Shout out to Ari. Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Mabel. Shout out to Katsai. Shout out to Sabia. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Katie. Shout out to Kyra or Kira. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Mirelle. Shout out to Zyra. Shout out to Nova. Shout out to Jada. Oh no, how do you spell Jada? There we go. Shout out to Jai. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to these people. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the live stream. On to the next page. Thank you for taking the time to write your name. I truly appreciate it. I know I don't write the fastest, so I appreciate you taking the time to write your name. I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten to you. Thank you for your patience. Write your name in the chat if you want me to shout you out. Shout out to Joseph. Shout out to Nora. Shout out to Esme, sorry. I'm Ness from NessDIYcorner. My channel's right here. Shout out to Nessa. I live stream every day around the same time as this. And I also post other content. Shout out to Zane. Shout out to Bryn. Shout out to Sirat. Shout out to Emery. Shout out to Joseph Tripp. Thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Joseph Tripp. Shout out to Farah or Farah. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Brandy. Shout out to Joseph Tripp. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Lee No. Shout out to Isla. Shout out to Bang Chan. Shout out to Lucia. Shout out to Blackpink. Shout out to Jasmine. Shout out to Daniela. Shout out to Rosa Barrera. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Whoops. Shout out to Rosa Barrera. Thank you so much. Shout out to Amira. Shout out to Raymundo. Shout out to Robbie. Shout out to Joseph Tripp. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Zoe. Shout out to Spooky. Shout out to Lisa. Shout out to Kiara. Shout out to Jia Heng. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Naya. Thank you for your support. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Jenny. Shout out to Bailey. Shout out to Yuki. Shout out to Nevaeh. Shout out to Pam Beluski. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Pam Beluski. Shout out to Dianita. Whoops, I messed up. Shout out to Gabina. Shout out to Callie. Shout out to Sophia. Oh no, I keep messing up. I'm so sorry. Shout out to Sadie. Shout out to Raymundo. Shout out to Madison. Shout out to Megan. Shout out to Rose. Shout out to Zamora. Shout out to Andrew. Shout out to Stray Kids. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Reagan. Shout out to Maria. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Marwa. Shout out to Annie. Shout out to Royalty. Shout out to Stray Kids, I got you. Shout out to Louisa. Shout out to Jordan. Shout out to Ezra. Shout out to Emilio. Shout out to Kat. Shout out to Jam. Or Jaham. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Parker. Shout out to Nico. Shout out to Embry. Shout out to Jack. Shout out to Aria. Shout out to Leakley. Shout out to Ellie Sally. Shout out to Kylie. Shout out to Miriam. Shout out to Cat's Eye. Shout out to Sinisa. Shout out to Sonia. Shout out to Ari. Shout out to Riley. Shout out to Harmony. Shout out to Dolly. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Dolly Bulldog. Oh no, did I spell her? Oh no, I spelled her wrong. Give me 1 second. Bulldog. Shout out to Nico. Shout out to Farhan. Shout out to Kaula. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Kai. Shout out to Jessica. Shout out to Najir. Shout out to Crystal. Shout out to Josette. Shout out to Ayochi. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Palestina. Shout out to Eleni. Shout out to Lorenzo. Shout out to Sadiqa. Shout out to Janelle. Shout out to Ouchie. Thank you so much for showing me how to pronounce your name. Shout out to Lola. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to, is it Kiwi? Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Kaden. Palestina, I got you. Shout out to Laken. Shout out to Presley. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Ari. Shout out to Rose. Shout out to these people. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. On to the next page. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your support. Thank you for being here. I live stream every day. I also post other content. I hope you can check it out as well. Your support means a lot to me, so I appreciate you that you're here with me and supporting my channel through this live stream. I am so grateful. So thank you for watching my live stream. I truly appreciate it so much. Shout out to Jackson. Shout out to Andrea. Shout out to Isla, or Ayla, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Everett. Shout out to Wyatt. Shout out to Ceres. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Jisoo. Shout out to Veronica. Shout out to Maki. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Ronica. Shout out to Liam. Shout out to Ava. Shout out to Gina. Shout out to Edge. Shout out to Yoonjin. Shout out to Kendra. Shout out to Asher. Shout out to Naomi. Shout out to Abby. Shout out to Skylar. Shout out to Anaya. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to Sadie Ann. Shout out to Eliani. Shout out to Quinn. Shout out to Jade. Thank you so much, Jade, for your support. Shout out to Yash. Shout out to Harper. Shout out to Journey. Shout out to Tay. Shout out to Susie. Shout out to Aria. Thank you for subscribing. Shout out to Sani. Shout out to Katarina. Shout out to Mammy. Shout out to Gadash. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Juniper. Shout out to Twice. Shout out to MJ. Shout out to Marianne. Shout out to Marilyn. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Olivia. Shout out to Naya. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to Jada. Shout out to Lizzie. Shout out to Sarah. Shout out to Emily. Shout out to Thomas. Shout out to Kayla. Shout out to Luca. Shout out to New Jeans. Shout out to Vivian. Shout out to Jackie. Shout out to Denver. Shout out to Kaylin. Shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Aaron. Shout out to Love. Shout out to Gage. Shout out to Nathan. Shout out to Eileen. Shout out to Tempura. Shout out to Jamie. Shout out to Jariah. Shout out to Andrea. Shout out to Selena. Shout out to Cameron. Shout out to Ellie. Shout out to Michaela. Shout out to Lori. Thank you for your support. Shout out to Carly. Shout out to Elena. Whoops, I messed up your name. Let me write it again. Shout out to Elena. Leave a like if you're enjoying the live stream. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to Ridley. Shout out to Laura. Shout out to Dennis. I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten to you. Shout out to Molly. Shout out to Felicity. Shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Kai. Shout out to Asa. Shout out to Tessa. Marie. Shout out to Lily. Shout out to Fernanda. Shout out to Espa. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Shout out to Alif. Shout out to Gumaira. Shout out to Jasmine. Shout out to JJ. Shout out to Karina. Shout out to Ryan. Shout out to Kashton. Shout out to Kendra. Shout out to these people. Thank you so much for being here. My face is on my channel. If you want to check out my channel, I would truly appreciate it. Please support my channel. I live stream every day. I will live stream again in probably 2 hours. Thank you so much for being here. Please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for taking the time to write your name. I truly appreciate it. Take care. I will see you all next time. Bye.